G'day guys, and welcome to another Project Resto. This is the electrolysis process that I'm going to jump into today. I'm going to show you how I set it up. It was really quite fiddly to set up, so I filmed all that, did all that off camera. But essentially I'm going to show you or run through the process. So if you are interested in doing this yourself, you've got an idea of how I've set it up for my context and my situation. It is really, really important you do your research with this. It's not a matter of just connecting up a few wires, plugging in some electricity and hoping for the best. You've got to know what you're doing and you have to be comfortable with that. And if you're not, then don't do it. There are plenty of other rust removal methods out there that are suitable. And in the past, I've used some of them before, like the white vinegar, Metal Rescue, and some of those other more commercial products. But to get some of the rust off from the inside of these rollers here, we're going to need something like electrolysis because it is quite heavy and it's really quite difficult to get in there. Sandblasting would be great, but we're not up to that stage yet, so rust removal is where we're at today. Now, this setup is really quite simple. We've got a tub, we've got some sacrificial anodes here, essentially they're bits of Rio. And they're going to be connected to the positive on our power supply. They are in series, okay, so we connect up to one of them and they're going to be running together. Here I do need to connect up the last one, which I'll do a bit later, but so effectively that'll be a ring of positive in the solution. The drums are suspended on a piece of Rio as well, using some wire here and a little jumper lead between them. Now what I did was I used a couple of blocks just as a spacer from the bottom of the tub to the underside of the rollers here, so they're not touching the bottom. So when they go into the tub, you'll see that they hang freely, and that they aren't touching anything. Okay, so if you look at that, you can see they are moving around really quite freely in the tub. They're not touching, they've got ample space around them for the solution to work, and there's plenty of space. There's not too much of a space between the drums and the anodes. If they're really far away, it's not going to work as effectively because that rust and that current will have to travel further. So these two parts are connected up with just a little wire here, which is essentially a piggyback system. Now what that'll do is connect up to our negative, which will run from our power supply. So the negative will come from the power supply, the negative current, go into our parts, through the rust, and then through the solution towards the positive, which is going to be our anodes. Now effectively what that'll do is it'll get behind the rust and help remove it, and then the rust will travel through the solution to the anodes here, and then these will actually get really corroded, and that's why they're sacrificial. We can throw them out after they've done their job. It's important though that if you do get Rio or any kind of metal that you're using for this, that it's bare steel. Because you want no kind of galvanized coating or anything like that. Everything's being cleaned and ready to go, so we shouldn't have any real interference once it's set up and running. So push that to the side for a second. We'll talk about the solution. So I'm using demineralized water. I'm using this because it's free of impurities. It's free of any chemicals like fluorides or chlorines that you find in your tap water. And it's going to be the most purest form of water that we can use in here, next to rainwater, of course. The powder, this is a sodium carbonate. Now sodium carbonate is what you'd find in your pool aisle at your hardware store. Essentially we're increasing the pH of the solution, making it more conductive and easier for that electricity to flow through it towards that final product or the final process. I'm not going to add all this together today because I still want to go away and do a bit more research on the what's it called? The ratio of sodium carbonate to water. I do need to purchase some more of this water as well because my tub is too big for what I already got. So I will need to do that another time. But essentially that's the setup we're going to use. We're going to run 12 volts. This power supply is 5 or 6 amps max. You can get your own variable digital power supply. This is all I've got. But essentially that's the setup. But like I said, really important that you are aware of what you're doing and you're comfortable with this, and also be conscious that whilst this is happening, whilst the electrolysis is happening, that there are going to be some flammable gases given off in that process. They're small in volume and quantity, but I'm going to do this outside, so there's plenty of ventilation while it's happening. The length of time that you run this for, it depends on your parts and depends on how corroded they are, but I'll take a couple of photos and some little update videos as they're going. You'll see the solution get really dark and foamy, some white foam appearing on the top. But essentially that's electrolysis in a bit of a nutshell, and that's what we're going to use to clean up these rollers. And then as well, once I finish with the degreasing process, we'll do the sprockets as well. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.